Awesome. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us today and taking time out of your busy Thursday to learn some about the software we'll be showing you later. My name is Chris Isbell with Martin Associates, and today we are excited to show you guys Velixo. So Velixo is a Excel-based reporting solution for Acumatica, and it enables you to create some pretty neat, custom financial statements just right through Excel, and live connecting to your Acumatica system for the data, and as well as some other features around budgeting and writebacks and some pretty neat new things. Before I introduce our presenter today, just a few quick housekeeping items. So we are recording this presentation, and you will get a link to the recording in the next few days. So you can, sit down and watch that later or share it with some coworkers. And if you have any questions, please use the Zoom chat feature or the Q&A feature, which on my screen is at the bottom, but maybe at the top for you. Use that to ask any questions, and we will answer those questions at the end of the demo. All right, that's then the housekeeping. So we'll jump right in. And today we have Duffy Cohen with Velixo. He'll be running the show. So take it away, Duffy.
Perfect. Thanks for the introduction, Chris. And at the same time, wanted to really thank everyone who was able to join the call today and giving us the opportunity to present our Excel-based reporting solution called Velixo. The structure of the call today is going to be fairly straightforward. For the first couple of slides of the presentation, I'll walk you all through the history around Velixo and really how we got started. After that, we'll spend the next couple of slides where I'll show you some of the functionalities that you're going to have access to with Velixo. And then for the largest chunk of the conversation today, I'm going to walk you through the installation and every single feature that you will have access to with Velixo. And like Chris had said, if you have any questions, feel free to put them into the question box at the bottom, and then I'll be able to answer some of the questions you have at the end. So just to get started, you'll see my photo right up top. I'm the channel sales manager here at Velixo. Our founder, Gabriel Michaud, he's been in the ERP software world for over 20 years, and he funny enough, started his first business at 17 years old. Can't say I was doing the same thing at 17 years old, but just fast forward to 2009, Gabriel and his partner at the time had become the first reseller partners with Acumatica. So just by that, we have over 10 years experience working within a reseller environment with Acumatica. In 2013, when Gabriel sold his business, he decided to work within Acumatica just to understand a little bit more in terms of the granularity of what Acumatica offers and to see if there was anything else that they didn't offer, for instance, that might be helpful to the everyday consumer who is working within the accounting or in the controlling space. And in 2017, Velixo had been formed, and just in this small period of time, we've actually grown from 0 customers to over 550 Acumatica specific customers worldwide. Our head office is located in Montreal, Canada, where Gabriel and I are both located, but we really have customers all around the world. The biggest chunk of our customers are located in the US right now. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into the history of Velixo, but it really started 20 years ago when Gabriel had started his first business. He had many customers who would come to him frequently and indicate that they had difficulty extracting data from their software and then importing it into Excel in a way that was time sensitive and in a way where it didn't involve that much manual work involved. So just instead of reinventing the wheel and creating a brand new software, Gabriel realized it just makes sense to create a plugin within Excel, and being able to manipulate your reports within Excel was something that we really wanted to stress. Now, what you'll see once I start going through the presentation, not the fact that we were built up from the ground up for Acumatica. So it let us leverage not only the best, but the unique capabilities that Acumatica has to offer and really integrate with what they have available. So what you're all going to see during the presentation, when the installation for Velixo is complete, you're going to see, number one, a new ribbon within Excel that says Acumatica, and that will enable us to connect directly to Acumatica. On top of that, there are an additional 60 functions that we've created that were specially made for general ledger, project data, and generic inquiries. And Chris touched on this a little bit, and he's 100% correct. All the data that you will see in the presentation today is in real time because we are connected within Acumatica. So if you've had a delay in the past with being able to extract your reports, whether it's 5, 6, 7 hours, that's no longer going to be the case. We're proud to be a certified application within the Acumatica world, and we are also proud to say that we are part of the President's Club. Now, after the presentation today, please, if you have time, take a look at some of the reviews that the customers have provided to us on the Acumatica marketplace. We're proud to say that we are the #1 rated solution, and hopefully after this presentation, and if a number of you see value in the program, we can potentially have a few additional 5-star reviews. Now, what you're going to see in the next couple of minutes or so, number one, is that we wanted to create an environment where our platform was as user-friendly as possible. So you're going to see, number one, that the installation with Velixo will take 30 seconds to a minute. Once that's complete, you will really be off and running. On top of that, the way we created our model was that one license will enable anyone in your organization to utilize Velixo. So the one license that you have will enable you to, if you have 5, 6, 7 members who will need access, everyone will have access, and there's no additional cost for that. We want to make sure who everyone needs to utilize it will have access to it. And the last item I wanted to stress is that there is no learning curve. So if you know Excel, you will know Velixo. Now, this is the last slide I just want to touch on before I get right into the presentation. And here I wanted to focus on Acumatica as one of the customers who have seen such abilities of Velixo that they themselves have purchased our financial tool for their own finances. We weren't able to include all 540 or so companies on our sheet here, but we're growing at a really great rate, and we're happy that to be working with Martin Associates. So what I'll do right now is I am going to walk you all through the first step, which is the installation of Velixo. So let me go right here and let's click on install. I'm just deleting Excel first to show you, Velixo first to show you the creation. Oh. Okay, great. Now what I'm going to do is you're going to see Excel open up. I see a couple of Excels opened up here, so let's just open the first one. Oh, we're seeing a number. There we go. Let's try that again. So I'm going to open up Excel. Okay, great. So here we are. First thing we'll do is we're going to accept terms and services. And then in about 30 seconds or so, you're going to see Excel open up once Velixo has been installed. Okay, great. And now, first thing that you're going to notice, number one, is the Acumatica toolbar that has been installed. So you'll see here Acumatica, and once you click on that, you're going to see a drop down of all the functionalities that you will have access to. And I'm going to go through each one of these functions piece by piece. Now, the first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to connect Acumatica to Excel. So in this scenario here, we're going to click on Connection Manager, and then we're going to click on Add Connection. So for myself, I've created a demo account. And I wanted to preface that the username and the passcode that you're utilizing right here to log in is the exact same username and passcode you are going to use to log into your Acumatica page. So you'll see here, username and passcode. And then once you're ready to log in, just click connect. Just click remember me in the future if you don't want to have to put in your credentials every single time. Let's make sure that we put in the correct information. And there we go. So you'll see the cloud turn green, which indicates that you're officially connected to Acumatica. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do is create a simple trial balance just to show you some of the functionalities that you're going to have access to. Let's zoom in a little bit more. There we go. Now, the first thing that we're going to look at is we want a list of all your codes. You can go the manual route where you're filling them in one by one, or what you can use is something called the Insert Chart of Accounts function that we've included here. Once you click on that, and then you click on Insert, you will see all of your GL accounts populate. Now, if I click on the cell itself, you're going to see that it's a dynamic function that we've created. And this is one of those 60 functions that I indicated that we created. So once you're ready and you're done your balance sheet and you wanted to save your file, the next time you log in, all you'll have to do is click on Refresh All, and then you'll see all of your data repopulate in real time. Now, the next piece that we're going to look for is the account name. So like I said, we've added 60 functions. One of them is called account name. Once you input that, it's going to ask you for a few additional variables. So here it's going to say connection and the account. So the same demo connection that I used the first time, I'm going to use again, and then we're going to just take the account. And there we go. Now, next piece, we're going to look for the balance. But before we do so, let me fill in a couple of additional parameters. So let's do sub account, and then we'll do financial period. Now, at this point, you can go the same route where you're going to utilize one of the functions that we've created. So account ending balance, or if you're familiar with the insert function tool, just click on that. And the first thing you're going to notice, number one, is that we've added 7 new categories within the categories field where you'll be able to extract generic inquiries, audit functions, if you're working in the project space as well. But for our sake, we're going to use general ledger today. So I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to click on account ending balance. And at this point, you're literally just going to fill in the appropriate field. So you'll see connection. So we're going to add again demo, the ledger, account, sub-account, and then financial period. Now, at this point, we are done. But before I click on OK, please note the help on this function where you have access to our support page. So once you click on the help on this function, we will provide you with specific syntax that's required for this specific function. We'll provide you with the parameters and description of a few of the other variables you can utilize. We also have examples that you can use that will better fit your needs. On top of that, we noticed that a lot of accountants and controllers, they prefer going on their own and figuring out our software. So we have an abundant amount of information within our support page. So you'll see here support.velixo.com, where we have how-to guides, we have functions. So if you have something related to the project model you're looking for or generic inquiries, we have everything at your disposal right here. On top of that, we also have videos. So if I go to how-to guides, if you look on the right-hand side where the star is, you're going to see getting started videos. And at this point, you'll be able to utilize some of the same features that I'm walking you through today. Now, let me just click on OK now. And let's drop down the values here. Now, at this point, we're done, essentially. But we can go a step further if we'd like. So let's say we wanted to look at actuals in 2020 versus actuals in 2019. You'll just change it to 2019, the date, and you'll see the values automatically update. If you wanted to do actuals versus budget, we can do actuals versus budget. Let's do 2020. And then at this point, you can even take it a step further. If we wanted to, let's say, look at the variance, for instance, you'll just see here. And there you go. Now, there's 2 other functionalities. Well, 3 actually. The first one would be if you were looking to group a number of the accounts together. All you'll do is, let's say I wanted to take 101, 102, and then 103. We're going to copy, and then you'll paste, and you'll see the values adjust automatically. At this point, if we're looking for ranges now, let's say we're looking for 101 and we want all the way up to 107.50. There you go. The last option is using wildcards. So let's say we want anything with a number 1 in it, but we don't want, let's say we don't want 102.00. And there you go. So really what I've showed you today is a sample of a trial balance where you'll be able to extract the appropriate information that you would be looking for. And you'll see some of the filters that I put in this scenario here. Now, what I'm going to do for the remainder of the presentation today is I'm going to walk you all through a sample pack that we utilize throughout the majority of our presentations. And once it loads, it might take a second or two. Let me just connect. Here we go. So this is a sample pack that we also make available on our website. So if you find that this sample pack is useful to you and you want to use this for your template, you're more than happy to. It's on our website. We do have a lot of customers who prefer using their own templates. So don't worry if you want to use your own, you can still use yours. But this is an example. So we right now have a P&L. We have a trailing P&L you'll see. There's an income statement that we've created. And a few others. And then I'm going to walk you all through distribution and budget in the next little bit. So the first thing that you are going to see is Number one, I'm going to make sure that the Acumatica tab is detailed here. And one item I wanted to preface one last time is the refresh all button. Every single time you click on that, your values will automatically adjust. Now, one of our most exciting features, and I personally feel that it resonates well with a lot of our customers, is something called the drill down button that you see right up top here. And what it allows you to do is click on any cell within your sheet and go to the source transaction within Acumatica directly. Now, let me give you an example. So let's take total operating expenses as you see here, and let's click on that drill down button. Once I did, you'll see that a new tab is going to open up where you'll be able to look at the source cell. You can see which branch it's coming from, the financial period, and then the balances on the right-hand side. Now, what I want to do is show you how we are connected to Acumatica. So I'm going to take a transaction and I'm going to click on View Transaction. Once you click on this, you will be redirected to the Acumatica page where we're now in the Acumatica ecosystem. And we're going to the source transaction. So you'll see here in account details, this specific line item. If you wanted to go even further and take a look at the original invoice, all you'll do is click on the reference number. And then once you do so, you're going to see a new window populate where you can actually look at the original invoice. So let me just click on that. And here you go. This is the original invoice. So we see 201.73. Now let's make sure that that number is accurate. Oh, perfect. 201.73. And then if we wanted to go back to the source cell, there you go. So just to reiterate one last time, what drill down allows you to do is click on any cell within your sheet and go to the source transaction within Acumatica. And this example here, so you'll see here, we have different branches that we've created for this specific example. So if you have different branches, for instance, you can drill down on really any cell within any spreadsheet. So that was drill down. Now what I'll do is I'm going to show everyone here something called distribution, and you'll see here the new distribution list. And this is useful if you have a number of stakeholders that you typically send reports to, whether it's on a monthly, quarterly cadence. We try to make it as easy as possible to be able to get the reports to the appropriate members of your team. So you'll see here, number one, within this template, that you'll be able to choose the format of which you will send this report to. Now, let me just zoom in. So you'll see here, we have Excel. You have Excel remove Velixo formulas. That's if you're sending the report to someone who does not have Velixo. And then you'll see PDF as another option as well. One item, though, I did want to preface is that the restrictions that each individual has in Acumatica will be the same restrictions that will apply when they're trying to extract the information through Velixo. So if they're not allowed to do specific actions, those specific actions will be relayed within Velixo as well. Now, just so you see here, you can add the file name, the tab selection from below, the folder path. So this is if you're saving it to, let's say, SharePoint, for instance. But what I've done is I've created an example that I can walk you through right here. And it wasn't that one, but you'll see this one right here. So you'll see the distribution, you'll see the tabs that were selected, and all the variables that were added in. And on the right-hand side, we've included the branches. So we've included a consolidated, but we added also Service East and Service West, just to make sure that the right individuals receive the appropriate reports. You can change the branch name. You'll see right here, the drop down, you can change that to fin period, ledger. So you have a lot of accessibility here to modify it to your liking at that point. Now, once we're ready to press send and have this report distributed, all you're going to do is click on distribute all. And then the report will start sending out. And for here, I've chosen for the email delivery to save as my drafts, but you can do it so it sends immediately as well. So while that's being sent, I'm going to go into Outlook to show you all samples of the reports that you will see. So let's go here. Let's go into drafts. And there we go. So you'll see here, this is the first report that we had sent out. So you're able to send out, if you have like a CFO or someone who is only looking for something specific in the report, you can send that specific item and only that specific item, as you see here, the net sales. You can send the report in the body of an email, where you'll see here an example of an income statement that has been created. Here's an example of a PDF for the branch of Service West, I believe. Yes, Service West, where you'll see the actuals, but they've requested to remove budget. So that's an example there. We also have Service East, a consolidated example as well, so you can see the full report. So if I open this up, you'll see an example of the full report. And we even have the infamous Excel file that you can send everything out in. So just to reiterate, report distribution allows you to send out the reports, and you can really pick and choose and cater to the specific needs of the specific stakeholders for what they're looking for in a report. Now, I don't know how many of you are familiar or who have utilized generic inquiries, but we're finding that to become more and more of a need or a request for many of the customers. And with Excel and with Velixo, you have the ability to extract a generic inquiry from Acumatica. Now, let me show you an example. I'm going to open up, let's use bills and adjustments as an example. And then you'll see right here, this is just an example of a generic inquiry. At this time, you're able to edit. You can add generic inquiries. There's over 100 generic inquiries available right now. But for our sake, what we're going to do is we are going to extract the inquiry title. So let's just copy the inquiry title that we'll see populate here. And we're going to bring that back to Excel. So let me go into Excel. And you'll see, like I said, a couple of times, we've added 60 new functions. One of them is GI, so for generic inquiry. Once you click on generic inquiry, it's going to ask you for the connection again, and then you're going to put in your inquiry. Once you're ready, you press enter, and then it might take a second or two for your entire generic inquiry to populate. At this point, if you find that you have too much information here, you can dig a little deeper. Let's say we're just looking for type, and then we're looking for vendor, and then we're looking for status in this scenario. And then you'll see vendor and status populate. At this time, you can even go a little bit further. So let's say for the vendor, we're looking for transit. And then for, oh, that's not how you spell transit. And then for status, we're looking for open. At this point, you can create a filter. So let's go ahead and create a filter. And that's another function you're going to have now. So GI filter. At this point, you're just going to fill in the appropriate information again. So you'll put in your demo, you're going to put in your GI, and then we're going to add the appropriate field. So vendor. And we'll take B1, status, and B2. At that point, your filter has been created. And so we're at the last step now of creating a filtered GI. All you're going to have to do is bring that to your original GI and then just paste the filter itself. And there you go. So this is your generic inquiry that has officially been filtered. And you can extract any generic inquiry that you could take and bring that to life with Excel through the functions of GI and GI filter and GI lookup as well. So that was just another example. Now, we do have another module that I wanted to walk you all through, and it's called Writeback. So let me click on Writeback right here. So let's use Budget Writeback as an example. So once I click on New Budget Worksheet, you will see a new template populate. And at this time, if you've used Acumatica in the past, you would see that the template that they're using for budget is very similar to what you're seeing right here. And that was done on purpose. And the great thing about Writeback, what you'll see with GL, budget, and forecast is that instead of pulling data from Acumatica, now you're going to be pushing your data back to Acumatica. So you'll be able to create your budget right here and then push that to Acumatica. Now let me show you all an example that we've created right here. So let's look at 2020 budget. So what you'll see is we have a revenue and expense account, and we've created two custom columns in this scenario here where we have forecasts. So you can modify your forecast as you so choose. Let's say we want that to be updated, this to be updated as well. And then you'll see on the right-hand side all the financial periods associated with this specific budget. At this time, once you're ready to push your budget back to Acumatica, all you'll do is click on Budget and click on Import Current Worksheet. And there you go. You have the same accessibility with journal transactions. So I'm just going to open up journal transactions right here. And you'll see just another example with the template that's being provided to you in this scenario here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk everyone through. I'm not sure how many of you are utilizing projects right now, but we do have a number of customers that are starting to utilize projects a little bit more, and we just want to show you what is available with Velixo. Okay, great. So the document is open up. Now, what you're seeing here is an example of what we have created for a manufacturing based customer a couple of months ago. And the first thing that you're going to notice is the dashboard that we have created on the left-hand side here. Excuse me. And this dashboard is being extracted from the separate reports that you see below here. And just to reiterate one last time, this report is also available on our website. We have an abundant amount of reports that is available. One item I wanted to specify was that all the information that you're seeing here, all the data is stored within Acumatica. It's not stored with us. We are just displaying and analyzing what is coming from Acumatica. So you'll see here a different view as well. Now I'm going to open up a project portfolio report, as you can see here. And in this instance, you can see all the existing projects that are ongoing right now for the specific project manager in this scenario, John Kin. You'll see the KPIs associated to this specific client. You'll see the budgets and the actuals with the associated expenses as well. There's also the margins that have been included for this specific client and the budgeted hours versus the actual hours. Now, one item I wanted to stress is that just like prior, when I was going through the trial balance, we were using account ending amount. In this scenario here, we're going to be using project ending amount. So we've created 60 functions that will enable you to extract the appropriate information. So instead of using account code, you're going to be using cost code in this scenario here. So we provide you with as much resources as possible to be able to extract the information even within the project segment itself. We have WIP reports that have been created as well. So if you're looking for a summary of all your ongoing projects at once, this is just a snapshot of what you would have available with Velixo. Now, the last portion I wanted to walk you all on is something called the project forecasting piece. So you'll see right here within the project forecast, this is the information. And once you're ready with your forecast and you're ready to push this back out, let me just open up the Acumatica tab once again. You'll see project forecast is an additional model that you're going to have access to. So once you're comfortable with the forecast that you've created, all you're going to have to do is click on import current worksheet. And once you do so, you'll see everything sent. Now, we do work with multi-tenant examples as well. We have had one customer in the past who has had upwards of 40 different tenants for their specific scenario. So we do have the ability to work with exchange rate conversions and all that as well. So we really try to make it as easy as possible in terms of being able to extract what you're specifically looking for. Now, let me just go back to my fun presentation document here. And let's go from the current slide. So just to highlight everything that we spoke about today, number one, we want to make the installation as seamless as possible. So what all you have seen today, number one, is the installation typically would take 30 seconds to a minute once you do install it. For my instance, I had to actually remove it and then reinstall it. You're going to have access to 60 additional functions. This can help you with your financials, generic inquiries, and projects. Really wanted to emphasize that, like it says here, you can extract any Acumatica generic inquiry. And then the fact that there are unlimited users who can utilize Velixo once you install it for one member from your team. These are the prices. I'm sure your team will be more than happy to provide you with pricing should you need that. We also support Excel and E as well. And we do have additional training support if you find that this is something that you're going to need help with. I'm sure Martin Associates will be able to help you as well with any training and support you might be looking for as well. And I also wanted to put my contact information in Gabriel's as well, in case you have any specific related questions that you needed help for, or if you had just some generic inquiries you needed assistance with. Wanted to thank everyone for taking the time today, and I'll pass it back over to Chris now.
Yeah, thanks, Duffy. I appreciate it. That was a good show, and I even learned about a new quick feature that I wasn't sure about, so that was pretty neat. We do have a couple of questions that have come in. If you don't mind taking a minute to answer those, Duffy. We know, this is an Excel-based plugin, so for those Mac users, does Velixo work for the Mac?
Yes, so good question. That's actually come out in the last 2 months or so. We are now supporting the Mac environment. There are a couple of features that are not yet available on the Mac environment. So there's, for instance, Writeback is something that we haven't launched yet for Mac. And then Projects is something that we are looking to launch later on as well for Mac. And the only feature which will not be as a whole featured within Mac will be report distribution. It's something that the Mac environment does not allow us to do. But other than that, all of the other features are available within the Mac environment.
All right, pretty cool. Let's see, we got two more quick ones. So, a lot of Acumatica people use either multiple tenants or multiple companies inside a tenant. If you do have like multiple tenants, does Velixo work in that? Like where you could do maybe like a super consolidated type report?
Yes, so great question. So we've worked with clients who've had upwards of 40 to 50 tenants within a given instance, and there's no issues in being able to consolidate for multiple tenants. That's really part of the bread and butter of Velixo.
Awesome. That's good to know. The last one, you know, you were showing some pretty neat looking reports there, and I know people might want to piggyback off of something. Do you guys have any sample reports that we could use either to learn or see, or just, you know, copy and tweak?
Yeah, sure. So just let me share my screen and I'll show you where you can go for that. So we have, let's just write Velixo support. And then you'll see right here within the support page, and this is a highly utilized segment of our program. So you'll see here within the how-to guides, within the Velixo functions. So if I go on the how-to guides, for instance, once you'll see the getting started videos, which are fairly useful, but at the bottom, you'll see specific examples depending on what your specific needs are. We also have a YouTube video that our founder, Gabriel Michaud, is an avid utilizer on, and he always puts new functionalities within Velixo onto the YouTube channel as well. So if you're someone who likes to do the homework on your own, I'd suggest taking a look at our YouTube channel and then really just walking through our website, because we have an abundant amount of information that's accessible, including all the reports under the sun, which I hope would be helpful for all of you.
Yeah, I agree. I've used that to learn some myself, so I found it pretty useful.
That's great.
Yeah. All right. With that, I believe I'm out of questions, and we'll give everybody here, you know, 15 minutes back of your time. Once again, thanks everybody for joining us. Thank you, Duffy, for showing us all about Velixo and taking time out of your day. For anybody who has any questions, you know, let anyone here at your Martin Associates team know, or, you know, go ahead and email Duffy. And we'll get back to you with any additional information. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Duffy.
My pleasure.